Welcome once again to Mad Artist Interviews. Today, we speak with Lauren Draper. Lauren is an art director with the New York Observer. As always, the interviews are conducted by Marcin Migdal. For more interviews and video workshops, visit madartistpublishing.com. It's time to get on the map.
Hey everybody, my name is Marcin Migdal. I'm here with Mad Artist Publishing and we're doing an interview with Lauren Draper from New York Observer. She has previously worked at almost every newspaper in New York with the exception of, what was it? The
Wall Street Journal.
Wall Street Journal. So I'm going to let her introduce herself to everybody and then we're going to get started with the questions. So Lauren, tell us about your background and how you got involved in the creative industry.
Okay. Well, the creative industry that I'm in now is not only art directing and graphic design, but music. So I came to graphic design through the music business, I guess, in a way. That's my background. My schooling is, I have a master's in trumpet, and I still play a lot of stuff around the city, salsa and commercial and church and all kinds of stuff. And when the music business got really slow, I got into typesetting and then designing, graphic design. So that was quite a while ago, and my first graphic design job full-time was the New York Daily News. And that's how I got started in it.
So,
I always loved design. And
so you don't have formal education in the graphic design field, or do you?
I don't, not really. I've taken courses, let's say in the last 10 years on design, or, you know, courses every once in a while in Illustrator, typography, photography,
right.
Web design, HTML, all that stuff, but it's not really formal. I don't have a degree in it.
Okay. What is the best and what is the worst thing about being in the creative industry?
Oh, let's see. I thought about that. Well, sometimes there's lots of work, and that's great, and sometimes there's lots of work, and that's not great. Mm-hmm. Many hours, and you can't always choose them. Right now, my job is very difficult. We just did a redesign, so I spend a lot of time in the office.
Okay. In your opinion, since you have been in the industry for so long, have the trends of the industry changed in the last 10 to 15 years?
Well, I wasn't sure what you meant by trends. So do you mean creative or
creatively, the way business operates in the publishing industry? You know, the various technologies that have come into place over time, you know, things like that.
Okay, well, you know, when Mac got started, pagination came in, and that's more than 15 years ago, but that was huge because that meant like many less people doing a whole lot more work. But it also was great because you had such artistic control. I mean, it was just wonderful to me. I mean, you could put everything together in at one time, but it was just a lot of work. So I mean, the trend there with computers and everything being on the web, it's huge. I would say there's less work, mm-hmm. especially for print, but there's much more work for web design and, you know, all things web.
Right.
So I guess that's the biggest trend I can see.
I can see your cat crawl onto the bed. What's your cat's name?
Well, that's Ribby.
Ribby,
for
okay.
Fronts Batted In.
Okay. Are students prepared for the needs of the advertising and publishing industry these days when they graduate?
I find that young folks really are very computer savvy, mm-hmm. and web savvy, and all the software that we really need now, I find that they know, and I think that's a huge help.
Okay.
So,
What are the biggest strong points of being an art director at a publishing or a newspaper company?
You have much more control over things. You have a much greater say. That's probably the best part. You really can use your own, what you really think is strong design. Uh, I can always get shot down with that, and I do. But it's kind of wonderful, like putting what you think is important on the page. So.
Okay. So what series of events led you into landing this job that you currently have? Tell us the backstory of how you actually progressed over the years into the position that you're in now.
Well, this position is the hardest and the highest position I've had in the industry. And it's real hard, real hard. But I love it. For a long time, I had a freelance business and was working as a designer at many newspapers. As I said, I was at the New York Times where we were laying out pages and for publications around the world, actually. And I got a freelance job, after I finished at the Times at the New York Observer through Ivy Simonis. She's an art director, an amazing, amazing designer. She's the one who introduced me to Jason. So, I can't say enough good things about her. But she hired me to freelance there. And 2.5 years later, I applied for the job of art director. Our art director left, just moved cities. And I was able to get the job, which is just incredible. I have a lot of work. I should be there now.
Right. Well, the work never ends. I mean, I know personally. What is the best and what is the worst thing about your current position? I mean, I could see in your eyes that you're quite passionate about what it is that you do. That's why you don't mind devoting the time. But what is the best and what is the worst thing about it?
Well, I guess the best thing is what I said about really getting your own ideas in print. I mean, I find that extraordinary. It's a little easier when you're freelancing because you're the only one that's designing it. But when you're working at a newspaper or a magazine, there's a lot of people, and the head person really has the say. So I love that about it. I get to put my ideas down in print. The worst thing about it is that you are very accountable to your ideas. And so people really look to you for the ideas. And I spend a lot of time worrying about that. I would say the stress of deadlines and coming through.
Okay. What's your biggest pet peeve when it comes to perhaps working with your team or even working with clients?
I guess if people don't meet deadlines, that was probably the hardest thing for me to learn. And I think I get easily pissed if people don't meet deadlines. But
what about clients?
You mean?
A pet peeve about clients, for instance, are they very demanding or are they easy or difficult to work with at times?
Well, but my client right now
that's true. Your client would be the newspaper itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would say again.
How about in your previous experience when you were freelancing?
Oh, freelancing clients. They want what they want when they want it, and you really have to, get things on time. I don't know if that's a pet peeve of mine anymore. It used to be because it was hard. I don't know.
I just love everybody.
I guess deadlines are always hard. It's hard if a client doesn't know what they want and can't articulate it. That is difficult because then you have to come up with a number of ideas until they you find what they want. Pet peeves: not getting paid on time.
Oh yeah. So is that. What is your notion about the idea of the client is always right?
Uh, well, the client is paying, so I mean, really, if I truly think what I have designed or art directed is is the right idea, I always try and push for that to go through. But the client is the one who's paying and who's hired you, so they are always right because they are. I mean, it's not that I don't have integrity about my work. It's just that, if they want something different than what I've given them, then I try to give them what they want.
Okay. Now, you've had experience working for several big newspapers over your career. Is there a big difference in the way each of them handled the various processings of the actual publishing and printing?
Well, yes, very differently. Let's see. New York Observer is not a big publication, so everything is very hands-on. The New York Times, wow, we were told what to, we were told, here's the picture you're gonna use, and here's the layout you're gonna do. Much bigger organization and many more people that were hired than me. That there was a design ethic, and you just kind of went with it. Of course, early on when I was in newspapers, there was people put together the paper, they pasted up. I remember waxing and pasting up.
Waxing? I don't know what waxing is.
Oh, well, you put a paper that has typesetting on it, and you put it through the waxer and you paste it up, and it's a mechanical. I mean, before Macs we did that.
Right.
So yes, the processes are very different.
Okay. Can you explain a process from beginning to end on an editorial piece for the New York Observer?
Yes. I mean, we don't have a lot that is illustrated, but I can tell you even about this week, our cover story.
Well, you mentioned that Jason Seiler is actually doing a piece for you. So maybe if you can talk about that article or editorial, whatever that is.
Okay, that's a great example. The cover story is on John Malkovich this week, and we almost always do an illustration on the cover. We just had a redesign, and since Jason is just one of my absolute favorite illustrators, I really wanted to get him on the cover soon, working on a cover for us. So I thought this was a good one for him to do. And so there's an illustration for the cover, if it's the cover story, and then inside it's usually photographs. And in this case, yeah, it will be. So we have to either do a shoot or get really great photographs for the inside. And so I've already put together the cover, and I wait for a...
Thanks for watching another Mad Artist interview. See the full interview at thecompleteartistbook.com. Buy the video workshop and learn from the top industry professionals today. For more interviews and video workshops, visit madartistpublishing.com. It's time to get on the map.